All right, guys. Just me today and the recap. If you guys are listening, please, if you guys like this type, like a bit more people on the podcast, let us know. I think it was more fun. Not that it's because James isn't here. It's because like Tony and Tom were like quite close, so we're allowed to joke around. It was nice to also have Mushfiq on the pod because I also know him quite well, but only through Facebook. And we've only chatted online before. And it was just fun to bounce ideas off of each other. This episode is sponsored by Ahrefs.com, by the way. Number one SEO tool out there. I think just about everyone in the pod uses it. So I should have probably called it out in the beginning, but it's all right. Ahrefs.com, sign up for the number one SEO tool. If you're an SEO, you probably know Ahrefs.com. So there's no point in plugging it anymore. Yeah. Give it a listen, guys. What's good, everyone? It's Jackie Chow.
And this is James DeLacy.
And you're listening to This Week in Digital Marketing. All right. Welcome to This Week in Digital Marketing. My name's Jackie Chow. James DeLacy's he's having a baby right now. His wife and him are having a baby right now, so he can't join us. Shout out to him. Congrats to him. And we have a special pod today. What happened is our guest last minute canceled, and I had to get like a last minute guest on. And I asked Mushfiq, Tom, Wang, and Tony Yu to come on the pod, and they all said yes. So here we are with 3 guests today. Why don't we give like a round robin style kind of thing and do an introduction, starting with Mushfiq.
Hey, thanks, Jackie. I run the website flip.com, so I buy and sell content websites since 2008, and I have just a brand to cover all of that, case studies and courses. So that's what I do.
Cool. Tom, you've been on the pod before. What do you do?
Yeah, Tom, I've known Jackie since high school, went to the same high school together. I'm in Vancouver. Started Amazon FBA skincare company called Sadara Skincare in 2017, and also have a online education company called FBA Masterclass.
Tony.
Nice. I'm Tony. I'm one of the co-founders of Vessi. We sell shoes. Yeah, we're a shoe company, direct to consumer.
Okay, I guess that's an intro, guys. So I wanted to get this panel together because I want to discuss like the topics I want to discuss today were probably the different business models in 2023. We have people doing like niche site flipping, agency side, me, Tony with the D2C, Tom with the FBA. So we wanted to maybe just talk about like each of our business models, the pros and cons. Another thing I wanted to talk about is like going all in as well versus diversification, because Tom, you really made me think last time. You said like if I were to focus on something, you'd probably guess I would be a lot more successful. I don't know if I agree with that, but a lot of people said I should, but we'll see. We can maybe iron things out. And actually one thing I wanted really to do was for Tony to pitch us his new SaaS idea. Tony, you called me in the middle of the night and you were like pitching me this terrible customer rewards program like idea, and the first thing I said was that was an awful idea. But you're fully convinced and in the progress of making it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we'll pitch it, maybe we won't. But
no, why? You think people are going to enter your space? No one's doing your shitty idea.
We'll go down on this pod.
Yeah,
Jackie texted us last minute because his main guest, the one that he really wanted, dropped out.
No. You're now my main guest, man. No. We're good. All right. Anyways, Tom, you also wanted to talk about like how if we were to start over, how we'd be able to make our first 100K or first 1 million. I thought that was pretty fun. Fun exercise we can do. Besides that, there's a couple other things like creator economy, internal HR that we can touch on if we have time at the end. So, all right, Mushfiq, if you were to start all over, like in 2023, someone's starting, what would you recommend them to work on this year?
Man, I think I'd just do the same thing, which is learning SEO in some form, and then understanding content marketing. I think we all do content marketing in some manner, right? Tom with his courses, Jackie with all that podcast and stuff. I'm not sure Tony, but probably he has a blog on his e-commerce businesses. So content marketing with generating traffic via SEO, YouTube, podcasts, whatever it may be, and building up media sites, because the multiples are good. So I would ask essentially to do the same thing, honestly, in 2023.
All right. What about you, Tom?
Sorry, what was the question?
Yo, if you were man,
distracted.
come on. No, dude, what were you like distracted about? Everyone's just sitting here in silence.
Christina and dude were walking out of the house. I was distracted.
All right, fine. If someone's starting all over again in 2023, which business model would you go with?
How much money do they have? Like, what do they want? Right.
Zero.
So they have no money.
Yeah. They're probably negatives.
Well, if you have no money, you can't start like a D2C, or like you need money for inventory and stuff. So I guess like Amazon FBA, like you need to have some sort of capital.
How much do you need?
I would say like, I don't know, like $5,000-$10,000 at least to start. So if they have no money, then Amazon will probably be like out of the picture.
Are you drop shipping then?
Well, I've never done drop shipping, so I can't say. But I think if I had to start with zero, like literally absolutely zero with a business that have absolutely $0 of investment, it would probably be some form of like agency. I think there are a lot of, Sean talked about this at MFM, but the podcast, but he was saying how there's a lot of people out there with podcasts these days that want to distribute the podcast. And you can basically just cut clips for them, right? And that requires like pretty much not a whole lot of skills that's needed. And what I did, actually, I'll share a funny story with you guys. One of the things I did as a side hustle growing up was arbitrage between Craigslist and Fiverr. And actually, you know what? That's what I would do. Maybe not today because landscape probably have changed a lot and Fiverr got a lot more popular. But back then, this is probably like 2013 or 14 or 15, something like that. What I did was I pretended I was a graphic designer who can create business cards and logos. And I would charge like $150 for a business card, $200 for a logo, and whatever else they need, like a brochure or whatever. And then I can sell a package up to like $500 to $1,000. And then I would just post that like on Craigslist under the service section across like every single city, every single town, whatever. And then whenever I get a hit, I would literally just go on Fiverr. I will find a guy who can like do a good job for $5 or $10, and I keep the spread. And I was basically just the middleman. So, I mean, that's in itself is some sort of like little agency, I guess, right? And I require literally $0 to start.
Yeah, I think the term, the term in 2023 is called drop servicing. People do this. They have like websites doing this. It's pretty cool niche.
Nice.
How much did you make doing that? Way back when? Do you remember?
Like paid for food. That was always my motivation to start a new business. I was like, man, if this can pay for food, like I'll do it.
What were you eating though? Like McDonald's, or were you like eating steak? I don't know.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, the ramen diet. I was. No, it's just like you go out with your friends right on a weekend, and you probably drop a couple $100 on like beers and stuff. And I was like, hey, if this can pay for something like that, that's probably pretty cool to start. No, but I mean, look, obviously that's like a very practical advice. Everybody wants something sexy, right? They're like, oh, I want to do something sexy. But like sexy requires money, like you need some money to get some sexy. So if you have no money, you can't be sexy yet. So you got to chase that money and then get sexy.
All right.
And do what Tony does. That's pretty sexy.
Yeah, Tony probably has the sexiest business out of us all, like a fashion business. Tony, talk to us. What would you do? Would you do DTC all over again?
If I had $0 starting a new business, how
do you start?
It depends on your skill set, right? Like, do I have skills, or am I like, do I not have skills? Like, do I have the current skills that I have right now, or am I also without skills?
You can't even speak English.
So I have $0. I can't speak. No skills. Fuck.
No, you can have some skills.
Skills.
If you have no skills, then you can't do anything, right? You got to have a little bit of skills.
Yeah, but am I like a crazy SEO person, or What's that?
No, dude, you could be if you put in time. Like, it's just, you can put in time to do anything. So like, knowing what you know now, and you're starting off as a blank slate, what would you focus on? Would you do DTC all over again? Because you see Tom Wang's cash flow, like he's got it all, man. Look at his backdrop.
Yeah, that backdrop that's money. He's got a Macallan bottle there.
Tony,
I think
he's got a money tree in the back, man. This guy's flexing on all of us.
Tom bought that money tree for me. It's doing well.
That's true.
Money's coming.
His business starts growing after that. Apparently, that's a thing. You want to find someone who's wealthy and get them to buy you a money tree, and then is that a myth or is that working well?
I've never heard of this.
Never heard of it. Yeah, I could buy you a money tree too, Jackie, if you stayed in one spot.
Yeah.
Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Da Nang in Vietnam.
Oh shit! Nice.
Yeah. Yo, Tony, answer the question, please.
Yeah, I think I'd probably start another like D2C business. But sell a service before you actually buy it.
Yeah.
I think is also a great model, right?
How did you start off? Because you did Kickstarter to start, right?
Yeah, so I think if you start like a product-based business, you probably want to go down like this crowdfunding route. So we crowdfunded all of our companies that we started. So really getting like the initial prototypes, getting nice marketing, video going, the content, designing like the angles, the pitch, and then dropping it on Kickstarter and leveraging like that initial success to pay for marketing, pay for product costs. And if I guess for people who don't know what Kickstarter is, like this crowdfunding formula allows you to sell your product before you actually have to pay for the inventory. So as long as you understand like the unit economics there, and then you can like take all that money that you've gotten from this like Kickstarter campaign and then push it to your manufacturers, and then you basically start the flywheel for your D2C business. So that's how we started. Probably do it with like a services company as well. So like, sell something before you actually make it. If I was selling like a service, I'd like maybe sell coaching, and message a bunch of people, see if they would want it before I even built a website or anything. So sell the product before you.
Yeah, Mushfiq recently did this. He like pre-sold a course before he even completed the course. Absolute savage, but like he raked in pretty good money. What was the course about?
Just starting newsletters. Yeah, I was, it's like time right now, right? Do I build something and then hope? I have an audience, right? But I don't know what they want, right? And if it's not at least, 10 hours, it's going to take me 10 hours to 10 to 15 hours to put it together. And so my time, I kind of estimated at $700 to $1,000 an hour, essentially. So if I'm not bringing that in at a bare minimum, it doesn't make sense. And my audience probably doesn't even want it. So I just pre-sold it, 2 emails and got 25K. And so, okay, that's the course. And then I'll, put it into my funnels and whatnot to bring in more. So I think that's the way, pre-sell. If you have an audience, right? If you don't, you got to build it first, which I did 3 years ago when I started. Right?
Mm-hmm. I think the benefit of that is like Tony, for example, I'm going to call him out. He's been wanting to launch this course for like, can I swear on this? Fucking ever.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm like, Tony, what I was planning on doing was just getting people to give Tony money. So now he has to deliver something, or else he's like a thief, or else he's a scammer. You know what I mean? But I couldn't even get him to do that. Like, I'm like, yo, I can get you 10 people or 20 people that'll pay you $1,000. And I know when the money is in his bank account, he has to give them something. But we never got to that point. So
it's a time commitment. It's a lot of time. You don't want to put out like something shitty as well, right? So,
but I'll tell you one thing. I'm dreading the fact that I have to build a course. Now, this is weird, right? When you pre-sell, you are required to deliver by a certain time if you set a time, right? Otherwise, people aren't going to buy. So I said March 1st. I sold it in January. I'm waiting till the last minute. I got like a week left, right? Now I got to put it together. Back in the day, I would build the course on my schedule when over time, maybe it took me couple months and it was less stressful. Now I'm dreading it. So there are downsides. If you have other things you're working on, like Tony, he's got DTC, you guys all have something. I don't know if pre-sale is the best thing. I probably won't do it again. I don't know.
Yeah, but I guess the point is that
you have 1 week before it's March 1st.
I know that I forgot February is 28 days. I got lost 3 days. So yeah, it's a different model, but yeah.
I guess you could drip the course too. Like you could drip it like week by week or like batches by batches. Yeah.
Right.
Piss off a bunch of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extend the runway.
Yeah, I waited too long. I gotta launch the whole thing now. I can't drip it at March 1st. Like, I finished one video when I promised you guys all of them. So
yeah.
Or you can just do live classes too, right? Live classes are pretty fun. Like, here's a 6-week boot camp every single Wednesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. Where are you based, by the way?
Me?
Yeah.
Chicago.
Okay, so yeah, like whatever. We'll do a live class, and then you can talk about certain topics, and you can actually save a lot of time for Q&A as well. So that way you can fill up your time. That's kind of what I did with my very first course. Is we did a 6-week program, and every single week we released a bunch of videos and we supported in the Q&A, and it was a really fun format actually, and that did really well. But we decided to do like the evergreen course because it's a lot more scalable that way. But
yeah,
cool. Yeah, I think from my side, I would probably start an agency if I were to start all over because it's just like great cash flow. And if I were to do D2C, it would be 100% with a Kickstarter model. Because that's, Tony, I don't know if you know, but like that's how we started Far and Away, and it worked out okay. So I think to give the audience a bit more sense about how Kickstarter works, because he like made it way too simple. Pretty much you have to go create the creatives as well. So you have to hire like videographers, et cetera, et cetera. All this will rack up to like 10 to 15K, at least in our case, because we wanted to shoot like amazing creative. You could do it on a budget, probably sub 5K, but we focus on 10 to 15K. So pretty much our all-in costs in our first campaign was something around like 25K, including ads. And we were able to raise something around 90K. So that was like amazing, great cash flow. You didn't even have the product. You just went into the factories and shot some like prototypes, and we were able to raise like 90K, put in a huge inventory order, build an email list. All that's like fine and dandy, but it's when it doesn't work. Like I didn't have product market fit on our second Kickstarter launch. We even got like projects we love, but we weren't even able to hit over like 15K on our second raise. So we just like gutted the project, and we're like, all right, this is a dud. Full write-off of like 20 to 30K in expenses, fine, great. But yeah, that's what happens when you don't have product market fit. And I think Tony tried to warn us, but I was like, nah, man, we did the plates first time, it worked out, and now we don't going for candles, but it didn't work out. But
but I mean, that's good, right? There's so many people with these ideas. They think the entire market's gonna buy their product, and then they like go out, build a website, shoot a video, start running some ads, buy the inventory, and fuck, no one's buying it. At least in your case, you knew within like 2 weeks that it wasn't the right product, right?
How long did that take? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, to like film it? Yeah. The films, I don't know. How long did that take you, Jackie?
It took Jackie a week. I mean, hours-wise, a long time, right?
Yeah, no, we went to like France and everything. It was fine. It was fun. Like we were in like the countryside in France. Like it was pretty beautiful, and it was like a mini vacation. So it was fine, but it's just monetarily speaking was a terrible investment.
Well, you missed like a crucial part, right? Like you already had customers from Far and Away, and then you didn't ask them if they would buy your candles. Like you could,
of course we did. Dude, I'm not stupid. What do you mean? Oh, you mean like so you ask like a poll, right?
It's like you can get them to actually do a poll. Like your customers are going to be your greatest advocates, right? So are they going to buy your candles for $100? I forget how much you sold it for. It was like $80 or $100.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, hindsight, man. We fucked up. Took a 30 to 40K L on the chin. We move on. It's all right. One thing I wanted to talk about today was like, do you guys do like digital detoxes? Like I was pretty much unplugged this weekend. It was like the worst experience of my life. Mushfiq, have you ever done that? Like when you go on vacation, you're plugged in?
No. I have my phone on me always. I mean, maybe not my laptop, but my phone.
Yeah. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
No, I
Worst
can't.
experience?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
that,
worst.
it's great. It's amazing.
Like no phone, no.
What do you mean by
You
worst experience? Like, what were you feeling that made it so bad?
I was feeling itchy. Yeah, dude, it was like jittery, and then my girlfriend's like, "Why do you keep like why are your eyes dodging around like that?" I didn't even have an answer, dude. I kept checking my phone. She's like, "Dude, you checked the time like 10 times in the last 5 minutes. Like, what's wrong with you?"
Or is it just because there's no signal?
Yeah, it's like there's no signal, but it's not like zero. It's like a very weak. So
That's the worst. Gives you hope.
Yeah, it gives you hope. Exactly. Tom, when's the last time you did a digital detox? You seem like the type of guy, health and wellness, all that.
Dude, my relationship with technology is rather embarrassing to say. Yesterday I had a meeting with this guy. Maybe I can pitch you my software idea as well after Tony's, and then the audience can vote which one's better. But
let's do it.
But no, I was meeting with this guy who's actually a student of mine, but he worked at Amazon and now he works at Etsy as a backend developer, and super smart guy. And he's very hard to get a hold of, especially on WhatsApp. When I have a question, I message him and I don't hear back from him for like 8 hours. And the WhatsApp message never gets sent. So it's like not a double check mark. It's just like one check mark. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, like, what's up with your WhatsApp? What's up with your WhatsApp? That's funny.
It's not, bro.
I was like, what's going on? Like, do you not get my messages? He's like, no, I turn my phone off during the daytime when I'm working. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, you know how there's a on and off button? Like, I just put it to the off button. I'm like, okay, but like, how do your friends get a hold of you if like they need to get a hold of you? It's like, well, like, too bad for them. I'm working. So I really respect that, actually. Because I find myself a lot of the times kind of doing something, and then if I'm thinking, I stop thinking, and then I actually just like put my attention to like YouTube or Instagram to kind of like, I don't even know what that moment of second is called. It's like distracting myself from doing the thinking. So this morning, I actually just like put my phone outside. I had the most productive morning this morning. I got so much shit done, and usually, I just grab my phone if I'm stuck with something. But I guess that's what people call like deep work, right? Is when there's like no distractions. So I think setting up boundaries for yourself, like even for social media stuff, I'm getting Christina to put a password on my, you know how you can have app tracking. So like you set a limit to how many minutes a day you can use your app, and then afterwards you can set a password. I want to put a password on there that I don't know, so that way I can keep accessing it. And I think just setting that boundary, man, because like you're right, like, social media is like a fork, right? It's great for all of us, or else maybe some of us would have never met each other, but it's also very dangerous. So a fork, you can use it to eat, or you can use it to kill someone. So
what are these analogies, bro? What the hell? Tony, I fully see you working on the side.
I have another one.
About detox, huh?
Another analogy? Here, let me just open my chat GPT and type in.
No, dude, fuck off. Tony, what you mentioned, it was your digital detox was glorious. When did you last do it? How did you feel? You're a guy who's always on this phone.
Actually,
yeah,
it was a while ago, but just like going to a different place. Like we went to this. Mikhail and I went out to this place like by the water, and didn't use our phones or laptops, or like watch any TV for, I think it was like 3 days, and just like being apart for I think for the first 24 hours, like you kind of don't know what to do with your hands, or like you have that itchy feeling, right? Like you want to like pick something up and like check something when you're mindless, but now you're preoccupying your mind with like actual creative thinking instead of like dumbing it down with like social media or anything like work related. So I thought that was like really empowering, but also like really freeing after the first like 24 hours not doing that. I don't know, you go like walk through nature, like do some other shit, and it was great. Felt really, really good. Felt like you were high off of something.
So like we're normal, maybe.
Could be.
What's that?
Could be.
Is it feeling maybe we're like that high could be like the normal that we all used to feel?
It could be, but I think it's like when there's like, I think the stat is like we're on our phones like on average like 3 hours a day, and then if you add on phones and then TV, maybe like another hour, and then your computer another, I don't know, like 3-4 hours of screen time. So if you remove all that screen time, all of a sudden, like, what are you going to do with your day? Like, your brain just needs to process like new ways to do shit, and
Yeah.
you go and you actually see things that are not on the screen. So I think it's like really useful and quite insightful. I definitely do it again. Go with like an intention on like trying to solve a problem, maybe in your life or like in business, and just go somewhere and design your environment so that you don't need like a phone or a TV or anything else. I did have music though, so music was around, so that was nice. Had a book, but
Yeah, I just wish I had a book. You know, if I had a book, that would have been great. I would have like downloaded hella books and just read.
But that's still like a distraction, right? Like it's not like social media distraction, but that's still a way for your mind to be distracted of something.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Janice is literally begging me to get off my phone and stop checking the time. It's at this point, it's frankly pretty embarrassing.
Binging the apps on your desktop.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to optimize. Yeah, I know. Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
Put in the folder, delete some.
Going through the photos or checking your content. Like, who's this guy? And delete it.
I'm embarrassed to say I wrote like maybe a week and a half worth of tweets while on the boat. It was
That's
really
productive,
bad.
though.
Well, that's deep thinking. You wouldn't have done that otherwise. You probably wrote
Yeah.
some killer tweets because you didn't have those distractions. I think that's
Yeah.
good. That's what I think Tony was saying. You know, you're focusing on something that you otherwise would not be able to because of distractions.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
if there was a phone that's like imagine a flip phone, but it has a screen and it has it has Spotify, it has Google Maps, it has WhatsApp, but it does not have any other social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, no Snapchat, no TikTok, I would buy that phone and I would like use that phone
just buy another
during the
phone,
weekday.
dude. What's wrong with you?
just
Sorry?
delete this shit on your phone.
No. It doesn't work, man. I tried.
What is this
It just
logic,
somehow
man?
comes
No.
back.
Yeah.
It comes back, man.
Okay. All
Doesn't
right. Anyways, moving on, guys. We wanted to talk about all in versus diversification. Tom, Tony, you guys both all in. Like Tom, you're all in one project right now. Tony, you're all in one project. Mushfiq and I both are diversified. What's your argument for diversification versus going all in on a product or project? Mushfiq?
What are you guys all in on?
Let Tony go
you're
first.
not all, you're not all in. You guys are diversified. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm diversified.
What are you diversified in? You have like the flip.com, which is super cool. 4-letter website names are pretty dope.
No,
I wish I had flip.com. No, I have the website flip.com.
But the website flip.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm diversified in a way. I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm fully diversified. I'm saying I don't have one business like you do. I have multiple content sites and brands, right? But they're all tied to Google or kind of traffic. So I'm not really, and I think Jackie talked about this in a past pod. Like Jackie and I are stuck with Google's whatever they want, right? So in a way, I'm not really diversified. So I don't know. I don't know what the definition of diversification here is. So
I think how I categorized it is having more than one business. So
in different areas as well.
yeah, for example, I have an M&A agency, right? Mergers, acquisitions, right? We do due diligence. We do all of those. But again, that is tied to people buying businesses that are tied to Google. So, or I get Amazon FBA deals if people want reviews. I mean, it's tied to some kind of ecosystem. So yeah, I have agencies, but then I have my own course brand, and then I have my own assets that I buy. I go out and buy content sites and build them up, do case studies for my brands, do courses. But they're all really kind of very similar. If tomorrow Google goes away, I probably lose 90% of everything that I have.
Right.
That's my net.
So in my books, right, it's not like I think that's still very focused because it's all in like one area.
Yeah.
I think Jackie is, when it comes to diversification, like someone like Jackie who like does the Kickstarter, he did D2C, he did. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? I'm not saying like any of this to be bad, but I'm just saying that's kind of my definition of like diversify versus all in. And then maybe even take that up a notch, like, you know, Jeff Bezos with Amazon. Maybe that's like all in. He didn't do anything else from at least what we know. And maybe Elon is someone who's like diversified. That's like Jackie, where he's doing SpaceX and he's doing Tesla. He's doing this, he's doing that. So, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Tom, what's your argument for focusing in on, you know, one revenue source?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give you an analogy, okay? So,
of course.
Did you put it
let's say
in
we got a bottle of water here, right? So every single morning, this water bottle. Hey, listen.
Yeah, hit me.
This is a wise man once said to me. So I'm going to pass on this wisdom to you, my young grasshopper. So, this water bottle is basically our energy, right? Every single morning when we get up in the morning, this water bottle is full. So how do you want to pour? And at the end of the night, this water bottle, the water is going to be zero. So your energy, your focus is going to be all going to be used. So the question is like, how do you use that? How do you use the water? So for me, how I see it is if there's different, let's say there's like different cups. Each of these cups is a different business or a different idea. Businesses require a lot of attention. Business requires a lot of work. So you have this one bottle, but now you have to distribute the water across all these different ideas. So each of those ideas is only getting maybe 10, 25, 30, 40, 50, maybe 60, 70% of your attention. And if one of them gets the attention, the other one actually has to go down in attention. So that's basically just my argument of diversification versus all in, is that I think if you want to build something great, something, you know, big, you have to be all in for a little while. And how you diversify is maybe by hiring someone to take that business for you, so that your time, you give yourself a lot of time back because that person is now doing most of the work, and then you kind of move on to the next one. You can have many businesses like this where they're run by CEOs that are doing the day-to-day, and maybe they report back to you like once a week or once a month or whatever. And that's how you can get diversified. But yeah, that's pretty much my argument.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And I think about this a lot. The only thing that's keeping me on the diversification side is if you're going down a path and that path eventually goes to zero, are you just like completely fucked? If you're 99% or like 90% all in on one product, like for example, no offense, Tony, Vesi's not going away, but what if Vesi goes away like tomorrow? Are you just like clapped? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you need to be pretty much like all in. I think, well, it depends, right? It depends on your role. But if you have like the depth and breadth within your own business, like you can drive the outcomes that you actually want. And if like shit hits the fan, which it always does, at least you know the internal operations because you're operating in it to understand like how to get out of it. Without being like truly dedicated to that one space, it's quite difficult, I would say. So it's like you get these advisors that pop in and out, or like high level executives that like have never really operated in the size of business that you've operated it in. They don't know how to maneuver the ship. So I think it's really important to be like have that like level of depth and like breadth within your own space. I think, which you were like, you're all within the same category anyway, so it's okay. But if you, let's say if you take like investments, or how I'd look at it is like, are you going to go like invest in crypto and really understand crypto, and then go invest in like ML and AI and really understand AI and ML, and then also go invest in like DTC type businesses and also really understand the depth there as well. Like, you're not going to get, it's going to be pretty shallow information, and you're not going to be able to like gain that competitive edge and like industry insights that other people with that level of experience would otherwise see. So
Yeah.
I think eventually it depends on like what your role is, right? Is your role as an operator, or is your role as like an investor, or is your role just like I don't know, finance dude? Like, it depends, and it depends on what level and category that you would sit in, and then you'd apply that knowledge directly to the things that you're doing. So maybe a final example, like if you're a finance dude, like M&A, you can do M&A across like a lot of different sectors, but if you're good at M&A just in the DTC space, that's probably where I'd go really deep in. Now, M&A is a transferable skill across multiple sectors. So you hopping over like horizontally, not just in DTC, but like also in maybe DTC fashion or CPG on the other side, has some like relative similarities. So it's not that difficult. You already have like the depth, but now you can build out like the breadth. But yeah. So diversification, to wrap it up, is not good if you want to get like really insightful, unique like advantages against the competitors. So
You know,
Yeah.
I probably hang out with Jackie too much online, like on Facebook Messenger. Man, I got his diversification bug. I'm looking at buying a e-com business that came to me. I played lacrosse in high school and college, and it's like a 15-year-old lacrosse business based out of New Jersey. And I'm so tempted to just buy that and grow it because they're doing a shitty job. But that means that, you know, it's going to take probably the next 6 months of my time. And also, one thing, I don't know how you guys handle this, all three of you guys who do DTC, when I see the P&L and I see there's 680,000 cost of goods, that freaks me out. I mean, I don't have any cost of goods for content sites or anything, right? I'm thinking, I have to get a line of credit or figure out, how to even do that. So, after this conversation, I'm probably just going to tell that broker, nope. Because all this, diversification is one thing, but then I'm going into the business where for me to sell a product, I need to hold that product and have interest in all of that. I don't know how you guys handle it. Kudos to you, but content sites are great. There's 98% margins.
Yeah. I also want to jump in and say a couple of things. Like, the first thing is, like, you look at an athlete, right? Like, the best in the world. They're not best in the world in multiple like sports. They're best in the world, like Olympians. They win a gold medal and like they train only for a specific event. So I think like business in many senses is like a sport because you're competing against many other people and people are trying to take your lunch. So you don't see an Olympian except for Michael Phelps. So that's only swimming. He's not playing tennis and then doing something else. You can't it doesn't work like that, right? And I think the other thing I want to say, and it seems like Jackie, like your approach to diversification is very like fear-based. It's like, oh, like if this goes away tomorrow, then I'm fucked. Well, dude, like there's things you can control and the things you can't control. Like the nuke can get dropped on tomorrow and like we're all fucked anyway. So you can't control that. So like there's nothing to be like, you can't really stress over something that you can't control. So you can only, just focus on the things that you can control. Which is like growing your business, be better than the next person over. And like if Google does change their algorithm, which has happened to you many times, but you're still in the game, like you just adapt because you know Google really well. Google's not going to go anywhere. So
yeah, I think a couple arguments against this. Like there's things I can change and there's things I can't. So I can't change Google changing the algorithm, fine. What I can change is seeing something like ChatGPT come out and seeing like a clear path to the death of, niche sites, the blogs that I buy, and offloading them now before the narrative changes too quickly and the multiples drop. There's something I always say to Mushfiq when we're chatting on Facebook is I've never regretted selling a business before. I've never regretted it. Like selling a business, exiting. I've only had a couple, like in this, couple in the 5-figure range, couple in the 6-figure range. It's not huge, but like every single time I've I'm so glad I sold it. But yeah, I think like one more argument against going all in is like, what if, Tony with his shitty SaaS idea that he's going to talk about shortly, like went all in the beginning of his career. And like everyone around him is like, yo, this is like a terrible idea. You should stop now. Stop sinking money into this. He's like, no, man, this is the one. I'm going all in. Goes all in 10 years, 0 product market fit. And like, he's like mid 40s, stuck with like a shitty SaaS.
Oh no,
like,
his mid 40s. Life is over.
Here's the thing. We can have this conversation because we are kind of successful, right? I can say I'm all in here, Tom can do that, Tony can do that. It's hard for somebody who's just starting out. So whoever's listening to this podcast, if you're just starting out, I would say you need to try a few things, right? You don't know what you like. But for us, we can have this conversation and, Tony can tell me, hey, you just keep doing what you're doing because we're already successful. I mean, it's not going to go away the next year or the next maybe 5 years. And if it does, we have, I started in 2008, right? So I have enough skill sets to figure something. I can enter the FBA space. I can do all of that because I have money, which Tom said, you got to have some money, right? And some skills to figure it out. So yeah, it depends on where you are right now. If Tony did his SaaS idea when he was 18 years old, maybe he should have done a few other different SaaS ideas simultaneously.
Let me ask Jackie. I completely agree with that, by the way. Like, you gotta try out a lot of things to figure out what you like, and then going all in on that. But Jackie, let me ask you this: what's like the most successful business venture that you ever owned?
Most successful.
Is it Indexy or?
Are you talking about like monetarily?
Yeah, monetarily.
Speaking?
Yeah.
I think it would be like a cross between Indexy and the drop shipping business that I think you know about.
What happens if you dropped everything you did today and focused 100% of your effort on growing Indexy? Where do you think that that business, if you did this 3 years ago, where do you think Indexy will be today?
Yeah. Well, hindsight, probably a lot larger than now. Way larger. Probably an 8-figure agency, I would say. Probably an 8-figure agency. Because I cut down, right? I cut down on clients. It was in a clear path to like 8 figures, like two years ago. Before I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm going all in content sites. Before that, yeah, we were doing like 200 something K a month. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Would that be a sellable asset? Let's say this year your business will do 10 million, Index will do 10 million. What's margins, like 30%, 40%, 20%?
Yeah, like 50%.
Okay, so $10 million a year, spending $5 million worth of cash. Is that a sellable asset or no?
Yeah, but it's the multiples aren't that great. Mushfiq, maybe you can speak on that. I'm guessing it's like 2x EBITDA or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, 2x.
Okay, so that's 10 million. That's $10 million bucks.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's more than what I have now, so I guess
it's pretty good.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you're right here.
But what if Google goes away tomorrow, right?
So it's so important that like I think if you like own a category and you're like known for one thing, like if like Indexy doing SEO, like people will just flock to you, and suddenly you hit this like growth spurt from like 10 to 20 to 30 million. And you have competitive advantage. Like you can take that cash flow, buy other businesses if you want. You don't have to diversify. You can like acquire up the other SEO content sites as well. So like you have a lot more opportunity, a lot less competition at people at that stage of business. So instead of competing with like anyone in the market, like you only compete with a handful of people. And then you even said it earlier, right? Like I think you made your own case, right? Like you're like, oh, if I didn't see I've never regretted selling a business. And because you could see the depth of these search engines, because you understand like ChatGPT. Well, you only get that insight like if you're really involved in that market, and you can almost like see ahead of like what is going to come, which leads you to sell ahead. And I know you've done the same thing with crypto as well, getting like really in on the inner circles and like seeing things before they happen. And that type of insight like gives you the competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, like you have no competitive advantage if you are buying at the top of Bitcoin market.
I mean, you'll be happy to know, Tom, I'm definitely more focused this year. I'm like stepping away from the D2C side, getting Albert to operate it completely, and then we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go all in. Yeah.
You know what's funny? We had Tony and I had lunch with Sean for My First Million, and he's like he's done a lot of businesses, right? Like he worked at in San Fran, and he launched a bunch of products, sold Beeple to or is it Beeple or B to Twitch or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he started a newsletter. He has an e-com business, and I wanted to ask him because he's someone who's like definitely put a heavy emphasis on lifestyle. Like he doesn't want to be that entrepreneur that wakes up at like 6 a.m., grind till like 9 p.m. and then have like 100 people reporting. He wants more balanced life, I can tell. So I asked him like, hey, if you can pick one of those businesses that can align with your goal, which one would it be? I thought he was going to say e-commerce for sure. And when he got to e-com, I don't think give me a good answer actually. But when I asked him like, oh, how's e-com? Like D2C? He's like, fuck e-com. It's like the fucking worst.
Yeah, no, I
Josh,
agree. It's the worst.
You've had a lot of business experiences across different niches. Like, where would ecom be up there for you? Like, or down there?
Probably, like way at the bottom, like beneath the dirt on my feet. I would never do ecom ever again. Yeah, it's the worst, man. Like it's just with ecom or D2C at least, especially private labeling or even creating your own products. There's so many moving parts. I can't even fathom how I would enter it again. There's so many moving parts. You know, FBA, fine. Like I can see an argument for FBA, but D2C really, unless you're doing all that for like 10% margins, you know, I mean, but Tony, you know, 10% of 200 million is still 20 million, I guess. Like it's going to be a big game for you, but make an argument for D2C. Like how can you argue that? I don't even see it. Like, it's not a lifestyle business whatsoever, right? Like, as Sean mentioned.
For D2C? Well,
look at you, man. You can barely speak. You're like having a stroke mid pod. This guy's seen some ghosts, man.
There's a lot.
Traumatized right now.
The other day with Tom. Tom came over and he's like, I was sharing him with a story. We have a good close friend. He's like, oh, yeah, our business is running into so many of the same problems, right? He says to me. I'm like, yeah, like what kind of problems are you running into? He's like, oh, we got refunds. We have to refund the customer. We have to create like new videos. I'm like, yeah, I have those same problems too, except for when I do refunds, like we have to ship the product back, clean the product, repackage the product, store it, scan it in. And then we need to like reorder more inventory, and then that sits on cash. Whereas he's in this, like a course business, and all he has to do, refund the money. That's it. You just click some.
Can you imagine complaining
He just
about
clicks a button. He just clicks a button. Yeah, it's like even manufacturing the product is difficult, right? You have so many different components, like so many different moving pieces. So,
yeah,
and you have size issues. And you have like exchanges, refunds. Fit's always going to be a problem. Then you have like different variations of colors, different styles that you need. And how do you figure out how to order the right quantity for like
the next 12 months, right?
I think Tony is playing this
for the next 3 months or 2 months or 4 months.
I think Tony is playing this D2, like D2C is already hard enough. Tony is playing the D2C game at like expert level where like the final boss is there and like it's very hard to beat because he's in the clothing space or apparel.
Yeah.
But like the other day I was at Sephora with Christina, and then I was looking at this like glass of skincare bottle, like literally this big. It's like $250. I was like, no wonder what people want to get into skincare space. It's like,
dude,
it's almost the margins are almost good as like drugs. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I definitely wouldn't advise on like. I think everyone tries to get into apparel businesses because it's easy to like manufacture, but yeah, cool. You can make maybe a couple $1 million. But what
that's
really
great.
builds
What are you talking about?
Well, it'll die because in the long run, like for you to have sustained success, you can't just keep on buying people on Facebook. You need to create like real community, build real brand, create really good product that people love, and get your retention up high. Because once you get that going, like then people will just constantly trust you and like come back for more and more things. Like look at Nike. And well, yeah, I think like SaaS versus like an apparel business, like Nike doesn't get the same type of multiples, even though they own the entire market in that category. As let's say, I don't know, a SaaS company doing like $30 million a year, getting valued at like $2 billion in this last uptrend, right? Different spaces, but everything like ebbs and flows. But over time, like things will always come back to the mean, and people always still need clothes, and people always still trust these brands. So you think in the apparel space, you can build like generational brands that last a very, very long time, and either just keep on printing cash, like you use that to like buy up other companies or do whatever, invest in. What we like to do is like invest in like smaller entrepreneurs, help build them up, but make a case for D2C. I think D2C is very difficult, especially in the apparel business. I think if you we're moving in the D2C space, try and do like beauty. I think beauty is a good one with influencers. I think packaged goods, like food, is very difficult as well. Sell some backpacks. Backpacks are pretty easy because there's like it's one size.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of hardware components, but yeah, that's about it. Maybe sell a hat. Oh no, hats are okay too.
I asked AJ because Christina has the super major chocolate, and I asked AJ, I was like, hey, any advice? He's like, yeah, don't do it.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
Like there's so many things.
Yeah.
But
Tom, how's that going?
It's slow. It's slow. We're trying to get into retail right now. We hired a broker. When I say we, I mean Christina. I mean, people just don't buy chocolate online, right? It's a habit that I think that's one lesson I learned. It's like you can either create a habit in people, which is like, in a way, kind of, Tony, what you're trying to do. Like you want people to have more fun in the rain, which I think is definitely a very, hard battle. I'm not saying it's impossible. I think there's anybody can do it. It'll be you. But it's creating a habit for people is very, very, very difficult, right? Leveraging off of an existing habit that people already has is much easier. So I think with Super Major, we're going to try to go where the shoppers are. The only times that I ever bought chocolate was in Whole Foods, and like I'm at the end of the line and, oh, like this looks good. Let me just grab it. So trying to get into retail and kind of see how that goes, but very, very difficult so far.
All right. Yeah, guys, we have to be a bit more mindful of the time. We had like a 10-point checklist of topics we wanted to go over. I think we went over 3. I think we can end on one more topic. What do you guys want to do? Tony, you want to?
You don't want to do like a Lex Friedman 6-hour podcast?
Does he do 6 hours?
Dude, his
6 hours.
podcasts are like 8 hours sometimes.
I want to hear Tony's last idea.
Tony, hit us. But also, one last thing before I want to plug Vessi. Tony, I don't know, you don't know this, but I've been wearing Vessi like throughout Southeast Asia, and it's been like a game changer. So nice. Janice was not wearing her Vessis, unfortunately, so she pretty much has like trench foot at this point. Like she has to amputate that foot, man. It's terrible. But I've been A-okay with your waterproof shoes. It's been good, man. Got to get my audience a coupon code, man.
Yeah, I'll send you one. Yeah, dude.
All right, amazing. Yeah, you guys
it's a good product.
use the link down below. Go grab yourself a waterproof shoes. It actually fits like a sock. It's like wearing a sock. You know, the Balenciaga shoes. It's great. But waterproof, you know, pretty much. All right, yeah. Tony, you want to pitch us the SaaS idea, or what do you want to do?
Let me think about it.
Or we can talk about the inner workings of your company. I also want to talk about that.
Super high level. Okay, so we started building this a little while back.
Hold on, Tony, one second.
Yeah,
Before we start, after guys, audience, you can go out and try to build it, but I've already told you it's not worth your time. Just let Tony make his mistakes and go on. But after Tony pitches us the idea, I want us to all go through, me, Mushfiq, and Tom, and just rate it out of 10. All right, go, Tony, hit us.
All right, let me see if I have a document somewhere.
This is the most incredible idea.
I feel like, Tony, you need to have an elevator pitch. You need to be now
you need an
30
elevator
seconds.
Pitch. It needs to be right there.
Yeah, but
30 seconds.
The thing is, we're not actually pitching this yet. It's kind of a stealth project. So it can be super high level of what it is. And
sorry, I revealed it. Oh my God. All right, go.
Yeah, all good. So we noticed this problem in the market, where in the attention economy, there are a lot of people giving attention to, let's say, creators, but not actually being rewarded for their service. So what we end up doing is creating a loyalty platform based off of using Web3 to validate real proof of engagement. So we developed this proprietary engagement validation engine that validates your engagement both on the digital level and also in real life. So if, let's say, you went to a Mr. Beast burger joint, you would have validated engagement if you were, let's say, the first 10,000 people or person to eat at the Mr. Beast burger joint. And also you can go into watch his videos, and you'd also have proof of engagement of watching his videos that was maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, or his most recent video. And what that gives the people that are using this the ability to do is really identify who their top fans are, engage their true top fans, and then reward them with whatever they want. So whether it's unique custom codes or small community events, in-person meets, you could do a lot of things with this. And yeah, that's kind of what we've been working on. So,
all right, Tom, what do you think? Tom, hit me. Rate out of 10. You've heard it before, right?
I mean, I don't know how to rate it out of 10, but I guess TAM is huge. Yeah. Execution's hard here, obviously. We could talk it through. TAM, I mean, huge markets. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, my first question would be so this is for creators only.
Fuck, I feel like we should just cut this. We should just really. Okay, hold on. Maybe we pause it. Let me review this because I really don't want this getting out there.
Here, let's just move on to a different topic then. If Tony's not comfortable,
fine.
Because we're gonna be asking questions.
Let's chat about it and we can review it. But yeah, maybe we beef out some words.
Well, I'm not cutting this out. We're gonna either go all in or we're gonna stop right now. I don't know how to video edit, dude. I'm doing this. What am I gonna cut near the end?
Okay, Tom, what's your question?
No one's gonna steal your idea. Trust me. I have a small ass audience. It's fine.
They're all sharks. It's only sharks that are listening to this podcast. Just waiting for ideas to be dropped. Yeah. So who is this for? Content creators? Is this your first market that you guys gonna test?
Yeah.
So the Mr. Beast.
Yeah, because you use Mr. Beast as an example.
Steph Curry, athletes, celebrities.
So imagine being able to identify who Steph Curry's top 50th fan is in the entire world.
Right.
Imagine
so my question to you
is for Steph Curry to do that.
Right. So I'm trying to imagine how powerful it is. So like, what are the benefits of me identifying who my top fans are right now?
As the creator, we can use like Taylor Swift as an example, right? Like Taylor Swift had this huge blowout when she released her tickets on Ticketmaster. All of her real fans couldn't actually get the tickets, and her tickets ended up selling for what, like $10,000 because of scalpers.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift has the opportunity now to identify her true fans, engage them directly, and give them first right of refusal to like buy these tickets or not, depending on like how they had engaged with her previously, like maybe for the past 5 years or whatever. So you could do this like with sneaker drops as well, right? Like who actually bought, because right now, like if you do like these sneaker drops, people are entering these like random raffles that are really just like the whole system is owned by bots. So how does Nike identify their true top fans, like real true top fans? And you can see this happening across the industry with like Starbucks, Sephora does this quite well, and like so on and so forth. So there's a lot that's already moving in this direction.
So are you saying are you saying that, like, let's say if I'm a Taylor Swift fan, which I'm not, by the way, for the record, I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but
oh, it's fine.
Are you saying that only their top, because for any sort of like, let's say Canucks, for example, right? Vancouver Canucks, which is probably a pretty shitty hockey team, but there's always going to be that group of fans that are just diehard fans. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be there every game, or they'll dress up, they'll paint, they'll do all those things. So are you saying those fans are basically going to be rewarded for every single drop or release what like the Canucks has going forward? So they kind of hog the prizes. Whereas for me, I'm a casual fan. I never want to be a diehard fan. I just want to go watch a Canucks game here and there. So I will never be able to like participate in those things.
That's not true, right? Like even if you go randomly casual, watch these Canucks games, and if the Canucks did implement this type of like loyalty system, like you would have, think about it like a digital memento of the things that you did. Like all throughout time, like we used to go and people used to go ride planes and collect the plane tickets, put a little scrapbook, right? Or they would go to like a Taylor Swift concert, save that ticket. Or you would go to a hockey game, maybe with your dad, and you'd save that ticket. You put in a little scrapbook, right? So these digital mementos, we just digitize that, like that type of engagement, for you to save, and we can then use those. Well, then the creators can use that to identify like who you actually are. How many of these events did you actually attend? And then get you in the system. Like you might be a casual fan at first, but over time, like because now they can identify who you are, engage you directly, like they can message you directly through the platform. They might have a higher chance of converting you into like a super fan going down the line. So
I think that how I think about this idea is I think there's a market for this for sure. And what I said in the beginning was like, it doesn't need to be Web3 for sure. You're just using it as like, because you're hyped about Web3. I think this could be probably done on Web2 easily. This can be like what you're saying is like almost like a rewards program, but for like creators almost. I'm into this idea, but I think it doesn't need to be Web3. Can be implemented quite easily. There are similar things out there. Execution is extremely tough because you have to do a lot of sales. But if you're able to crack that, I think there's something there. That's how I feel. So overall, I'm at like a 6 out of 10 for this idea, bro.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Got him past the 2, so that's a win.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Guys, let me set the stage for Mushfiq. He's an extremely technical person. He's got a PhD in engineering, so he's the guy to talk to. Here we go.
Yeah,
hit him with it.
I don't want to hit him with anything. Look, I think. You started with Mr. Beast, Taylor Swift. Now let's get down, talk about creators, right? Like for me, I would love this. I mean, I don't know if I would use it, but for example, I would love to know if somebody bought one of my courses, which I can know now, right? Engage in my Facebook group, like my tweets, subscribe to my newsletter, watch one of my videos, right? That person should get a webinar once a month with me, 1 hour of my time, or even like a consulting call with me, right? That would be great. Now I can't do that. There's absolutely no way, unless I ask who did it, show me proof, show me screenshots. So, that if you can target, there's, creator economy, people who run newsletters, communities, Indexy newsletter communities, mine, Tom's, that's valuable, I think. Because what I can do with that is say, hey, every month I can say, look, these few people are my top followers. They just got a 1 hour session with me. It's just a flywheel that next group of people are going to be like, yes, I need to do this. Right. So for that sake, it's a great, I would be a customer. Execution wise, I have no idea how you're going to integrate into Facebook or my Twitter, or my newsletter, or my Thrive card, course platforms. That stuff is impossible, I would say, unless somebody gives you access to everything. I don't even know if Facebook will give you access to all of that. So execution wise, it's hard, but the idea of just break it down to the creator, charge a couple $100 a month, $100 a month, I would use it.
I think that's super interesting. What you said, I think this is a great tool to build up an audience.
Yeah.
But for someone at the size of Mr. Beast, I don't know if this might be a helpful tool for them, because there's always going to be that 1% of diehard fans for any organization, for any sports team, for any celebrity, for any whatever it might be. There's always that top 1%. And I feel just like, okay, cool. You identify the top 1% and you're going to reward those top 1%. I don't really, I don't know. I don't really.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's a bad idea, Tony. I think it's good, right? I'd give it an 8 or something. I'm not as critical.
Okay.
It's good. I know people who would use it. I would use it. It would go well in the people who run SaaS and communities and stuff. It would do well. It's just really, as an engineer, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to figure this stuff out. I mean, just the integrations. Required.
Yeah. What if I said we already built it?
And then let me see it.
Okay. I'll sign you up. Yeah, we're in the final stages of launching this.
Tough. Jackie's way too tough on you.
But
I gotta be, man.
Here's the reason why I think it needs to be Web3, right? Because Mushfiq, you were just like to actually validate who did and took those actions. Yes, you could do it on Web2. But if you try and extrapolate into the future, right, there's going to be a lot of things that maybe Mushfiq, you keep on dropping, whether it's like through email or through Facebook or through Twitter, and how you end up validating them, like if it's not on a single platform, like becomes quite challenging. And how the fan ends up using like that. Fuck you, Tom. That type of engagement is.
I'm not recording you. I'm just taking a photo. I wanna post this after. Be like, this is the All In podcast on wish.com.
No, I get it, Tony. But like, I think Web3 sounds cool. All that stuff. You can do it in Web2. Web3 is just another layer of authentication and verification. It's not needed.
Absolutely.
It's just a timeline of what's going on, and then just verify. It's a good way to use those keywords to get funding. VCs will eat that up, right? But operationally, I don't think you need it. That's just my thought. You can build it and then do it later. That's what I'm saying.
How will you see how a person? Yeah, like earlier, for example, I want to identify my 1,000 true fans, and the criteria I'm going to give you is I want to make sure they bought my product. Second, I want to make sure they liked my Instagram page. Third, I want to make sure they've subscribed to my YouTube channel. Fourth, I they have to listen to my podcast at least 5 times. So how will you actually do that? Because don't you like basically, what Mushfiq said, like, don't you need access to these platforms in order for you to extract that data?
Tom, I actually think that might actually be the execution part. I don't want to reveal too much for Tony. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, maybe we won't.
If he figures that out, that's big.
Yeah, I think you're A-okay.
You could just sell that. You don't need to sell a product. You can just sell that to companies. Look, it's a data product, right? You don't need to be the front end. I mean, a lot of people eat that data up. So.
Well, guys, I think wrapping up, one last thing I wanted to talk about is, how was the My First Million event in Vancouver? You guys both went. I think Mushfiq and I are both very jealous because we both watched My First Million. What did you guys think? Rate out of 10. Hit me.
Like 9 out of 10, 8.5
really?
out of 10.
What the fuck?
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was. I think it was as good as like can be, like for an event like that. Tony, what are your thoughts? I'm pretty sure, Tony, like, were you there at the event, or were you just getting drunk in the back, like at the bar? Because when I walked out at the end of the event, you looked pretty tipsy. There's no way you were at the event.
I was watching. I went to the washroom and got like pulled by a bunch of people, but it was good. I think the way they were able to get the amount of people out with the janky attendance system that they had, they basically, like, you signed up, paid like $50 and didn't get a confirmation email. I don't know. And then you didn't even like know if the event was going on until I think it was like 5 days before the event. So I bought multiple tickets because I didn't even know if I couldn't remember if I bought the ticket. But the way they were able to bring like a community out and then like have the event and then like a bit of an after party was quite cool. So
what was that?
So you pay $50, you save a spot. So you pay $50, you're not actually in yet. They save you a spot, and they don't tell you if you're in or not until 5 days before. So people from like Montreal, whatever, they're like, do I have a ticket or do I not have a ticket? So I don't really understand. And then they're supposed to refund that $50. So I don't really understand the logic behind that. Like, why don't you just sell a $50 ticket, first come, first serve? But one thing Sean said that was quite interesting during our lunch is, maybe Jackie, this is a lesson for you, maybe. But he was saying in Silicon Valley, like, because that's where he's from, right? Never like underestimate that, like never look down upon anyone, and never like tell people that idea is stupid or something, because they've just seen so many stupid ideas becoming this like multi-billion-dollar companies, and like they've all been like humbled. It's like, oh, this 16-year-old like idiot pitched me this stupid fucking social network thing that it's like, this guy doesn't have any life experiences, doesn't have any money, whatever, and then like 3 years down the road, like becomes a billionaire. So I thought that was really interesting, of just like never really looking down on people, because he's right. Like in 3 years, I would say like my growth was, like it caught the FBA train like pretty quickly, and my life just like completely turned around within like a span of 2 years. So it's right. Like you just never underestimate anybody. Never judge someone based on their cover, based on their looks. Yeah, and I thought that was a really interesting lesson. But Sean was pretty funny. We had lunch with him, and he was just exactly like how he was in podcasts, I think. Maybe a little bit more chill, but just
more chill?
Funny.
Really? I didn't expect him to be that chill.
I think it was more chill than like he is on a podcast. I think podcast is more like lively and stuff. I think, like in person, he's a little bit more toned down. But
yeah, Tony, what'd you think? You gave Sam a pair of vesties, right?
Yeah, they all got vesties. Actually, Sam said he had shoes before, so I gifted them. So, but he likes the shoes.
Nice. What did you think of the event? Like, were you just getting drunk in the back?
Yeah, I got drunk in the back after. Yeah, but overall, it was great great event.
All right. I mean, guys, I think that's the pod. I don't want to run too overboard. Tony, I'm sorry if I revealed your new startup idea. Guys, thanks for coming on. Listeners and the audience, if you guys are listening until the very end, it's a very long podcast. Please give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Give it a rating. I think we got only 3-star ratings or 3 5-star ratings. Tony, I gotta get you on that as well. Please review our podcast. Struggling to grow this, man. Tom, how did you grow your podcast? You had like a couple thousand listeners, right? How the hell did you do that? It's so hard for me.
I don't know. I just interviewed guys that I thought was interesting, and I didn't have any scripts beforehand. I just sat down with them and just asked them questions about life and business, and people tend to like relate to it a lot. So, I don't have an answer. I think it's like a genuine conversation, and people like authentic, genuine conversations. Not saying yours is not, but I'm just saying I don't have any hacks.
Kind of felt that way.
But,
okay.
All
right.
Yeah.
See how it is. It's fine. It's cool. Whatever. All right. That's the pod, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
See you.